Hi students, this is where we left off today in our lecture with variance, and I showed you a lot of tips and tricks in Excel, and I wanted to go back through that because it will ease the burden of the mathematical calculations. Now, that being said, we need to understand our work and the processes behind it, but as you're doing a lot of data entry with your calculator, I think you'll find that Excel is a tool that we use constantly in business, and it's going to make it a lot easier than your calculator. So I thought I'd walk you through this just very quickly. We left off today and we said the variance is the average of the squared differences, and we talked about this formula that we use, and we said the order that we do this is very important, and I think students trying to look for a shortcut often come up with the wrong answer, and I think Excel can help you stay on the straight and narrow path. Okay, so let me go back to our Excel worksheet that we did review today, and you might remember the rent values, and they were all across and kind of sorted in that way, and all I've done here is straightened them out so that they're in one long list, and it's just going to make it a little easier for me. Okay, now in our formula, I'm going to make you seasick here as I flip back and forth, but I'm going to go back to that. It says the first thing the order of operations tells us to do is anything that's inside of parentheses. And this tells us that for each and every observation, x sub I, each and every observation, we must subtract the average or the mean. Okay, now in Excel, the first thing that we need to do is to calculate the average, unless we have that from someplace else. Okay, so I've just kind of picked an arbitrary cell over here, and I'm going to type the formula into Excel. I happen to know that the formula, all formulas in Excel start with an equal sign, and that the name of the keyword or the function that we use is average, and you can see Excel trying to help me. Notice that I have not pressed the space bar. I am going to type the open parenthesis, so average open parenthesis, and my data starts at cell A2, and I can click there if I want, and in fact I could drag to the bottom, but it's such a long list. I'm just going to go ahead and type it, A2 colon, so that's two dots. Now it says A2 through A2. Well, that's not right. My data goes all the way down from A2 all the way to A71. So that's where my data is. See how the blue box is highlighting my data? Now, I can close my parenthesis, press the enter key, voila! My average is 490.6571, which is what we calculated in class. Now, you want to know the cool thing? Excel remembers this to many more decimal places. I want to say that it's something like 18 decimal places, but don't quote me on that right now. Okay, so I've really not rounded at all. I'm only displaying 4 decimal places, or however many, but I've not rounded at all. I'm carrying all this with me. Now, the next thing that our formula says, and it's going to take me a couple video clips to put this together. The next thing that it says is for each and every observation, I need to subtract that mean. That's what's inside the parentheses. So, in this next column that I've prepared, all formulas start with an equal sign in Excel. So I press my equal sign button. My first observation, I'm just going to click on it, 425. See how it adds that into the formula? I subtract. I find the minus sign on my keyboard, press that. And then I'm going to tell it, here's the average. I'm subtracting 425 or 490 from the 425. Now, I could press enter and this would work, but I plan to copy this formula to each and every cell down below. So I need to anchor this G2. Now when I say anchor, see A2, my next observation is located in A3, my next observation in A4, A5. This cell is going to automatically change, but the mean will always be here in G2. So I simply type, and there are shortcuts to do this, but I'm going to simply type a $sign before the G and before the 2. Press enter, there's my first calculation. I select the cell once again, and if you see this little square notch in the lower right corner of the selected cell, put your mouse over that, see I have a thin black plus sign, press and drag, and it's going to copy that formula to all the other cells. I'm going to do that, and then I'll see you in the next video.